Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hotline Classic Remastered. This time we're taking a look at the 1998 Audi A4 2.8 Quattro. My favourite generation of A4 returns to the track. We've had the Avant, we've had the S4, this time it's time for the Milquetoast A4. Which does come in a lot of fantastic colours, and I went for the most bizarre one on offer, the Paradise Green, which looks interesting. Almost makes the car look a lot more low poly than it actually is. But no, I love this generation of A4. I think it is probably one of the best looking saloon cars ever. It just looks phenomenal, and these things are just a treat to see. And obviously the S4 is very cool. The wagons are cool. And speaking of the wagon, the GT2 Plus mod does more than just add the Avant. It also fixes a key issue that this A4 has in the base game. What is that issue? Well, we've seen it with the Accords, we see it with this. The A4 Avant shares its weight figures with the Saloon. And so, as a result, if you buy this car in the base game, it weighs as much as the Avant does, which I think is about 200 kilos heavier. So, GT2 Plus fixes that, and as a result, this car is going to be quicker than what it would be in the base GT4. Or GT2, sorry. Now, I have gone sans race mod for this. There is the race mod. We saw it on the S4, so I figured I wouldn't put it onto the A4 because I wanted to show off its classical lines. Anyways, four-wheel drive, 347 horsepower, 1,246 kilos. Not massively impressive stats, so yeah, and it's naturally aspirated, which is strange. Anyways, this car is going to have 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Interestingly, it is our first Audi to take on the course since our leaderboard topper, the Audi TT LM edition, set it to record-breaking time, a 26.690. The A4 Quattro is unlikely to beat that. In terms of where this is going to go, what do we got? We got a 5-speed, okay. That has just completely compromised the upcoming lap, so good job me. In terms of where we're looking, the A4 Avant at a time of a 30.467. I don't think this has got the power, and finding out that it is also naturally aspirated doesn't help. I don't think this is going to be an under 30 contender. I think it's still going to be very quick. The Audi A3, 30.352, I think maybe that's something worth aiming for. 30.906 on its first flyer, but obviously that was with the compromised first sector. Yeah, I think so. The S4 set a time of like a 28.3 or something. It was very, very quick. This is not going to be that car. So, yeah. I'm trying to decide whether this is another first gear, stick it in first gear and bumble about car. I don't think it is. I don't really remember the A4 Avant. I could have swore the A4 Avant had a turbo, but I mean, it obviously didn't because they share the same engine. This mighty 2.8 Quattro. Of course, this being the 5-speed means it is the legendary. Yeah, first gear just runs out of puff too quick. This being the 2.8 Quattro means it is the legendary Tiptronic gearbox, known for its 100% failure rate. So, yeah, that's something. Also, not the 1.8 turbo, which I think a lot of people. Well, obviously GT2 doesn't have diesels, so it's not the TDI, which is how I imagine most of these were sold, and a lot of the ones that you see on the used market, because I do look for these from time to time. A lot of them are that. Also not the 1.8 turbo, which I suppose was the most enthusiastic option of all of them. Yeah, this is the big old 2.8 Quattro. 6-cylinder, of course, not a 4-cylinder, although that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I think I pitched this about right. I think 30.285 is roughly where this should go. It's not a bad car. It definitely is not a bad car. It's just not a very quick car. It is hindered by its lack of turbocharger. I think if this had 400 horsepower and a turbo, this would be like a straight 29-second car. But yeah, as it sits, I'll take that. I mean, you know, about 0.2 up the road from the estate, that sort of makes sense. It also makes sense considering the estate ran quite a while ago, and weight is sort of the least of this car's problems. I don't think weight's an issue, it's more just the gearbox and the, again, just relative lack of power, really. Which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I mean, again, definitely not a bad car, just maybe a bit of a slow car. Which we do see sometimes, so we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. A 30.285 will place this into 167th place. It splits the TVR Cerbera and the TVR Chimera. It is quicker than the Fiat Punto GT, Tommy Kaira M30 GTSR. It is quicker than the BMW 528i, which also in turn means it's quicker than the 328i and the E36. So it is quicker than that sort of quadrant of vehicles. About 0.1 up the road from the Audi A3, 0.2 up the road from the A4 Avant. Other stuff comparable to this, slightly slower than the Lexus GS400, Evo 2. Yeah, I mean, it's not... Again, we know the issues with this car. The gearbox is a little bit soggy, which it was in the S4, and it doesn't have the power of the S4 to really get around it. So, I think, again, honestly, even if this was like a turbo or it had 390 horsepower, I think we'd be looking at an under 30 club contender. But, yeah, as it sits, it's just a little bit down on power, but still definitely not a bad vehicle. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.